welcome to Latinas in New York City. My name is Kat.
And I'm Itzel.
And we're here to bring you the latest fashion, world, and gossip news, everything that's going on in the Hispanic, Latin American community. So to get started, Itzel's going to talk to you guys about Diego Luna.
Well, Diego Luna, he's a famous Mexican actor who has now stepped in the field of directing. He has this new movie coming out on March 28th called Cesar Chavez. And it's about a biography of Cesar Chavez, who was an activist for all the farm workers working in the 1970s. This movie is set with actors like Miguel Peña, John Malkovich, America Ferrera, Rosario Dawson. A lot of great people are in this film. Diego Luna actually went to the White House to present this movie to President Barack Obama, and he even commented on Diego Luna's other role in
Y Tu Mamá
También.
It's a great movie, by the way, guys.
President Barack Obama liked it. On March 31st is actually Cesar Chavez's day that they celebrate in Chicago and California.
I think some of the southern states, I think Texas
as
might celebrate it too.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think Diego Luna, he started off as an actor actually.
Yeah.
He was in Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights. He did the remake of that, but I think he's making a better name for himself
As a
sticking to
director.
directing
Yeah.
rather than acting. But I mean, regardless, he's doing a good job. On another news, I think we all know, especially going to fashion school, who Carolina Herrera is. She is a Venezuelan-American fashion designer. Very classy lady. I love her. She actually spoke at our graduation 2 years ago, I believe. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. She spoke at the design graduation at FIT over at Javits Center. And she tends to always do charity work, and she tries to use her money and her fame to do something, to do something for a good cause. And this year, she decided to team up with the project La Paz, which helps out underprivileged children, basically in Juarez, Mexico for the most part, who have either suffered violence or any type of trauma. And what she's doing is she designed a leather bracelet, and all the proceeds from that bracelet go to this foundation. And it's a very popular one. It's just a little round black bracelet that has some hearts, and it has La Paz written on it. And it was actually so popular that there was only 60 available, and she had to call the store to have 2 reserved for her when she was going over for they had the unveiling night. So there was a lot of famous people there. She unveiled the bracelet. All the proceeds went to that. So that was a very great thing that she did.
That's fun.
I know it is.
Love her.
I kind of want one too. They're only $50 in case anybody wants one.
But it goes to a good
Yeah,
cause.
exactly. It goes to a good cause. All the proceeds go towards that. So that's very, very exciting.
Okay. Well, moving on to some other news. Jose, who, I don't know if you guys have heard of him, he's a very famous Mexican artist. He lost his voice in 2001 due to alcoholism and emphysema.
Because he'd been in and out of rehab a couple of
for a
times.
while.
He had been going back and forth, struggling with
Yeah.
alcohol.
But now his voice practically paralyzed. It's hard for him to talk. It's hard for him to even breathe. But he went on a show early last week talking about how there's some doctors looking into seeing if they could fight the disease that he has, because his music is so romantic and it's so clean. It was
love ballad. Yeah, it was a lot of
Yeah.
love ballads and very romantic music.
Yeah, I grew up listening to it. My mom listened to him, and he fortunately he lost his voice.
I wonder if he would sound the same though, because a lot of times when artists lose their voice and they kind of make a comeback, their voice doesn't always sound the way that. I mean, if he's gone through all that and he's been paralyzed, he might get it back, but I don't think that he's ever going to sound
He's
like
had it gone for over 10 years.
Yeah, it's been over 10.
So.
It was in 2001 and we're in 2015, so it's been 13 years since he lost his voice. It's going to be very hard for him to get back to that singing voice that he had back.
Well, hopefully he will. At least some of it.
That's true. Hopefully he gets it back, and if he does, we'll be excited to see him make new music. On other Hispanic note, I don't know how many of you watch The Lovely Bachelor on ABC, where we have our beautiful, sexy, maybe not such a good personality bachelor, Juan Pablo Galaviz. Have you watched The Bachelor at all? Do you keep in touch with that?
I don't watch The Bachelor, but I heard about this Juan guy this season, and I don't know. I don't think he was a lot of people's favorites.
He was not. I liked him. I mean, he's obviously very easy on the eyes. He's extremely good looking.
He's very
yes.
I have to give it to him.
And he was playing the whole I'm a single father role on The Bachelor, which I think all the women were wooing over. But I think the reason why he made such headlines, he made some pretty bad comments all throughout the season. He wasn't like your typical charming bachelor. He was always with his I'm a very honest person on the show. So he would always, when girls would ask him questions, he would kind of give them an honest answer that not
Too honest.
all women want to
Right.
hear at times. So that was definitely a thing, and he had 2 women actually left the show. Usually,
Yeah, I heard about it. Wasn't that like the first time that girls were
the 2
leaving
of them
the show?
left. One of them, and the thing is, they've had people leave on The Bachelor before, but the people usually leave very
Towards
early.
the beginning.
Towards
This
the beginning.
is like towards the end.
Yeah, I think he was down to about 5 girls, and one of them decided to leave, who was actually his favorite. So that was very
Wow.
sad to know, because he comes back from the date saying how that's his favorite, and she decides she doesn't want to see him because she said they didn't have a very intellectual connection, and she was very into that. So she left the show, and then he had his top 3, which I guess the top 3, for those who don't watch The Bachelor, they get to do a getaway with like a fantasy suite night, so they get to spend an overnight where no cameras are allowed. She ended up leaving right after the fantasy night. He comes in, and they interview the both of them after it. He says it was the perfect date, and that it was perfect. They interview her. She says she absolutely hates him and wants to leave the show. So,
Wow.
anyways, the show wrapped up, and the show did end. He did pick one of the 2 ladies that was left, and then he made headlines again, because for those of you who've never watched The Bachelor, you were supposed to propose to the person at the end. The whole point
At
of The
the
Bachelor...
reunion?
Not
Or
at the
no?
reunion, at the finale.
Okay.
He gets to pick out a diamond, he picks one of the ladies, and he proposes to one of them. So that's the way the show is supposed to work. He did pick out a diamond, he had a ring picked out and everything, but when it came the time to where he picked his girl, the one that he wanted to give his final rose to, he actually just asked her to continue dating, as opposed to proposing to her. Which I think that's what stirred people the wrong way, but his explanation was that he didn't feel like he was ready to get engaged. He said engagement is something that he takes very seriously, and
So-
he didn't feel like he knew her enough to do that, but he did want to continue seeing her.
So not just because he's on the show,
Exactly.
and he propose to her.
Which I could see how the show would not want that, especially
Yeah.
for propaganda for the show. But I mean, I could respect him for taking an engagement so seriously that he's not just going to
True.
propose to you because we're
Just
on
like every
national
other,
TV.
Yeah.
And then they went on the reunion, and he still hasn't told her that he loves her, which is another thing that's staring
no.
everybody the wrong way. But he said that it takes time. I mean, he put it this way. He said that to him, their relationship is starting now, because obviously after he picked her and the show aired, he
Yeah.
couldn't always be seen with her or it would give away the ending. So they had to keep the relationship hiding. So he's saying he counts their relationship from this point forward. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see how far.
So are they like together now?
Yes, they are together, but they're
Okay.
still just dating. They're boyfriend girlfriend. There is no engagement. There is no nothing.
Okay.
So I
he's
guess-
taking it really slow. I feel
Exactly.
like.
And you know he has a daughter, so I guess we'll have to wait and see how far the relationship goes, or if they break up, or
Now, where
maybe
was
the
this
real
one
deal.
guy from?
He's from Venezuela.
Oh, he's from Venezuela as well.
He used to be an
Oh, wow.
ex-football player, which is for you guys soccer. But he was this ex-soccer player, and then when his daughter was born, he kind of gave up his soccer career, and now he's a sports consultant. Not really sure
Okay.
what that is, but I guess that's I don't know, he
No.
consults people in sports, but that's what he does now. So he's very good looking.
He
but,
is good looking. I have to give him that.
So props to Venezuela for making something so good looking. But speaking of Venezuela, I know last time we talked to you guys about what's going on there and
Yeah.
how the citizens are trying to revolt against their government. They actually had their first foreign death recently in Venezuela. So what this means is that now not only did a Venezuelan person die, but there was a Chilean student from Chile studying there, and she unfortunately died in a casualty, which now brings up their count of dead people to 31. So that's how many citizens have passed away in this entire revolt against the government. So hopefully we can put an end to all of this soon, because it's getting pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while now too.
It has, but then the thing is the government keeps arresting all the people who try to do something. So all of the main activists and people who are trying to uprise, they all keep getting arrested. One of them I think was very famous, Leopoldo. He actually handed himself in to sort of make a statement and do all that. So hopefully everything in Venezuela wraps up and it comes to an end soon.
And we're
because-
thinking of you, Venezuela.
So
We definitely are.
stay strong. And
Just to wrap things up, we're going to finish up with El Chapo, who we talked about last week with you guys. He's like the famous Mexican cartel
drug dealer.
who got caught. Things aren't moving quite as fast as people had expected. He's actually doesn't have anything. He's not being extradited or anything to come to the United States for all the charges that he has: drug trafficking, money laundering, in states like Illinois, New York, California, Florida, Texas. So it looks like right now he's just being held in Mexican prison.
Which I think everybody thought that as soon as he got arrested,
He was going to bring him
over
here. But it looks like things are just going to be done first in Mexico, and then I don't know, who knows, maybe in a couple of years, maybe this year he'll come to the United States and face his charges that he has here.
And also, I don't know if you guys heard this, I don't know if you heard this, but I heard that now they're saying that the person they arrested is
They
not.
think.
There's just a rumor going on that the person they arrested is not actually El Chapo. They're saying that it's somebody that he paid to look a lot like him, to I guess get reconstructive face surgery to look like him, and he's who they actually caught, and the actual Chapo, the real one, is still out. But then again, we've heard this theory so many times. Whenever they arrest somebody big like that, so I mean, it would be
actually
crazy.
People in the little state that he's from, Sinaloa, are actually really disappointed, and they're sad that El Chapo got caught, which is really ironic to think about. But people in the restaurant business are saying they're not getting as high tips as they were when El Chapo was there, and a lot of people are holding protests to have El Chapo free.
Well, because money runs a lot of, drug money runs a lot of Mexico. So we said this the last time that. By arresting him, they were going to take out a lot of the money that was entering Mexico, where it was coming from. So it was probably going to take a small toll on the economy. But at the end of the day, he should still get caught, and hopefully
stay in prison.
People understand that and deal with that. Hopefully it's the real person that they caught, which I'm sure it is. It's just people like to make rumors up.
Right. Well, guys, that's it for our show.
Thank you for watching, and
we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time with some more news.